Yeah, it's going very fast. We're getting close to the end of the semester very soon. Anyways, today we're going to talk about line quality, as I told you. Last few weeks we have been talking about the line. Started the contour line, and then cross contour, and then we realized that cross contour, which is based on cross section, and you do cross section of any shape, you get a cross contour. We realized that cross contour is the mother of all kinds of line, and then we started learning how cross contour helps us to do the plane drawing, no outline drawing. We practice all that, and then we practice how to get all other lines with the help of cross contour, based on cross contour, surface line. We did all that. Actually, this is one of the example I did for the how to get all other lines based on cross contours. But the question is, why some lines are dark or some lines are light? What is the theory behind line quality? This is what we are going to talk about. Why you make your line sometimes thick, sometimes thin, and different character of the line. Why lines are so different, and is there a good reason for that or not? Sorry guys. In drawing, all you have is line. Think about it. You have nothing else but line. In the tone that you create is based on line. There's many lines is creating the tone. Then the question why you make the line darker or lighter is a very serious question. Plus, what kind of line we have? We have been talking about the lines like contour and cross contour, but if you pay attention, you have lots of different contrasts between lines. In color theory, as you know, there are different contrasts as well. Well, 7 contrasts is very famous. Like one contrast between cold and warm color, contrast between contrast in hue. There are many different contrasts. In line also you have contrast between, let's say, sharp and dull. You have sharp line, you have dull line. You have dark lines, you have light lines. You have thick line, you have thin line. You have soft lines, you have hard line. You can name many different contrasts between line. You have, sort of edgy, nervous lines. You have very smooth, straight line. Then the question is why and when you use these different qualities of line. Based on what you have learned so far, the next natural question is why you make it thin and thin, dark and light, and so on, right? And this discussion about line quality that you have here also is relevant to in other part of animation. For example, in cleanup, line quality is a serious thing. In your layout, in your design, in every department you're dealing with the line quality. I'm not going to talk about those other departments. I'm going to talk about life drawing. But I want to say you can apply it to other courses. This is the introduction of to line quality. But I think the actual thing starts here. What do you think? What can be indicated with just line? I mean, can we indicate weight? You can.
Yeah.
How do you think we can indicate weight if there is weight?
Thicker lines?
Thicker line. I would say thicker line, darker line, stronger line. Imagine if you want to, for example, draw a hammer and draw feather. You don't use the same kind of line for that, right? Or, for example, any drawing, this one, because I didn't draw the whole thing, even here you can feel a little bit of pressure there, but any drawing that you want to show that someone's standing, you want to show the weight, you have to make it darker. I mean, let me show you some of more drawing that is there is a little bit of weight. For example, even here, for example, I was doing this little example to how to use the cross contour, but here you see that I'm making here darker because of the weight. Anyways, weight is one of them. What else? Yes?
I like to do, I don't know how, like, the term, but like when we have things that are interjecting with each other, so like creases and folds.
I couldn't hear you, but say it louder, please, with this beautiful thing.
When you're drawing the body, and you know, we have all the different folds and things like go into each other, I like to make those a little bit darker and give them a little bit more weight too. And then it's like
To show the volume.
yeah, like to show more like if you have like a crease.
Oh yeah, when there is pressure somewhere. Yeah. In a muscle or in part of the body. Yeah. That's part of that's also weight. For example, here. For example. Yeah, that's yeah. For example, in this drawing, there's weight here, there's weight here, there's here, and even a little bit there. I'm trying to indicate that. What else? That was the weight. What else?
You apply lighting with darker lines or thinner lines?
For what?
Lighting? So
Light, yes. Light, the effect of light. For example, let's say this object. Because we don't want to show anybody in our videos, I'm going to bring it. In this object, where the highlight is and when the shadow is, you use different light, different line. What kind of lines do you use?
darker for, the shadow.
Darker for the shadow, but the dark and light is not enough in this one. I would say for highlight, you use thin, dark, but thin and sometimes broken line. But for the shadow, you use dark, thick, and also dull, not very sharp. You see, and you use all these three different contrasts. Yes?
Also the shape of your line?
I'm sorry?
Like shapes? of your line?
Shape, you mean the curve and straight?
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
If you're trying to convey certain emotions, right? If you're
Yeah, you're talking about a different topic. He was talking about the, yeah, you're just jumping ahead, but that's good. He was talking about the light. We were trying to figure out how to do with the line when you're dealing with the light. But you're talking about the movement or the curve. Yeah. Your point is more related to composition.
Oh.
you know, because you can indicate composition with your line. You can create focal point. You can create eye travel in your drawing with line quality. That's another aspect of line quality. Then, for example, in this drawing, you see the fact that the eyes are darker, it's creating a focal point, and then eye travel going there, right? That's another aspect of line quality. But for now, we are talking about weight, light. Yes, you can indicate light, and I talked about it. And what else? Yes.
Depth. So like
Depth, definitely depth. And how? Can you explain how?
I'd say a darker line for the stuff that's in front. So you're
Darker line that is stuff in the front,
and then lighter in the back.
lighter and faded away.
Yeah.
Again, dark and light is not enough. Again, when something is closer to us, you can see the detail. Then the lines are crispy, fresh, and very, very detailed, right? But when it goes away from you, it gets dull. Not very vague, not so clear, right? Also, it gets lighter. You're absolutely right. The main contrast is the closer to you, the darker. The darker or higher contrast. The farther away from you, duller or lower contrast, right? But you can definitely indicate depth with the line. Even with single line, you can create depth. When it's closer to you, darker, sharper. When it's farther away from you, duller and less dark. Let's put it that way. Okay, so for light, weight, depth, what else? Yes?
Texture?
Texture. Texture also is very important and very obvious that you can create or indicate texture with your line. For example, the kind of line that you use for this object is different the kind of line that you use for this object, the kind of line that you use for this object with flesh. But even you look at the flesh, the kind of line that you use for bone landmarks is different the kind of line that you use for muscle. Muscles that are relaxed and those that are constructed and there's a lot of pressure as we were talking about, you use different kind of line because you're dealing with different texture. Right? Texture is also a very important aspect that you use different line. For example, I don't know, for bone landmarks you use darker, harder line, but for the muscle you use softer, smoother line. Right? What else? We're talking about, of course, the important ones. Otherwise, you can talk about it forever. There are so many different contrasts you can create. Let me remind you, it was light, weight, depth, texture. I would add volume. We talk about it a little bit, but volume, showing the 3 dimensions. For example, how do you deal with an egg shape? Or how do you draw a ball that doesn't look like a coin, or doesn't look like a circle? You use thick and thin line to create the illusion of volume. It's very much related to light, but you can say it's a concept by itself. When you are dealing with line quality, you think of volume. This is the one that is used a lot in animation. When you want to clean up, you make it, doesn't matter where the light is or whether that's another factor, but you make it thick and thin to create 3-dimensionality and volume. Then we probably can add to this, for example, the one about composition also is very important. You can create composition. You can create atmosphere and mood with your line. You know, there are many different aspects of line that you can create with line quality. I don't want to talk about all those. Just think about the very basic one, like weight, like depth, like light, like these are important ones for us. The question is how to do it. You know, this part was the easy part. That okay, we know these are different aspects of line quality. How to do it? You know what? Because sometimes you are facing a contradictory situation because your light says this part should be sharp and thin. Your depth says this part should be dark. You know, you don't know which way to go. When you think about it, there are many different aspects of a drawing that you have to calculate where to go for, and you don't have so many different options. You have so many contrasts in line, dark or light, or thin or thick, or sharp and dull, and so on. Then which one to use in this situation? It's I think even a computer will have a problem to decide what kind of line should be used here and there. Are you with me? It's not that easy to decide. It's not very mathematical. Let's say, okay, I go, for example, the depth says this should be very dark because it's close to us, but light says should be very light. Then what should we do? To be honest, I don't have a simple answer to say, oh, this is how you do it. I think this is your decision. This is your decision that what you want to do with your drawing. What do you want to show to your audience? Then putting emphasis on this or that, it's a subjective choice. It's up to you. My job is to tell you that, listen, you can create depth with your line quality. Yeah, listen, you can create weight with your line quality. But this is your decision if you want to go for more weight in this particular drawing, or more creating depth, or indicating light. Come in, please. Come in. That's okay. Then, yeah, as I said, my job is just to make sure that you know all these different quality that you can give to your drawing with different line quality, right? But making the decision is up to you. That's one point. Another point that might help, if you want to learn more about line quality, I suggest you to watch good drawings, especially masters, and see why they made it dark here, thin here, thick here, how they decided over their line, and what kind of lines they're using. Because again, there are many different kinds of line with different characters, and study their line. I think that's a good way of learning this. But ultimately, it's a matter of your experience. That's why you can tell by looking at people's lines, you can tell how long they have been around and how much experience they have. Because it's a very complicated issue, how and what kind of line to use, right? To make it easier, I can go through some of drawings that I did for you guys or for other classes. For example, in this one, I'm just because it's here. If you see, for example, in this lake, if you look, there is an emphasis here. You see it from there? I think I did that to emphasize on the volume and the pressure also on the muscle there. Or this little dark here is trying to show the weight, right? I talked about the eyes and creating focal point. But I think the dark lines on this one is more about depth and showing that this is in front of us, right? This is closer to us. I can go to another page and see if there is anything here. Okay, this was a drawing that I was trying to, I'm pushing some aspect of the body, and my lines are following that. This is what we're going to do in third semester. You'll get there, hopefully. And in this one, I was pushing, for example, I was pushing a little bit of muscles and anatomy. Here, I'm pushing some aspect of the skull. Then my line, in other words, I'm creating composition, a different composition. I'm creating different focal point for that. And I'm using my lines like that. Here, I'm pushing the body and the proportion. And again, as you see, okay, the weight is something that I'm aware of, or the some muscle structure of something that I'm aware of, and so on. With all these examples, I want to say how subjective the line quality. The whole drawing is very subjective. It's very much up to you. And my conclusion is this, that when you want to decide what kind of line you're going to use, go for your feet. Go for what you like. Go for how you are, what kind of relationship you have with this particular pose. What do you want to show in this? That is the main factor for your line. Of course, you make a lot of mistakes. Of course, whatever I told you about weight, light, and depth is correct, is true, and you'll see it is true when you make mistake. You might create not a good illusion of what you want to do. You learn from your mistakes. But this is my suggestion. Go for what you like and try to practice a lot and try. Plus, look at other artists' lines and try to learn from that, especially masters. Number one. Number two, when you do your line, my suggestion is have a feel for your line. In other words, go for cross control, touch the surface and get the line with the help of cross controls, like what we practiced last week. That's crucial. That's very crucial to get good lines, right? The rest is practicing. Yeah? Clear what we want to do? You're going to have 5-minute poses, and you're going to practice your line quality. But again, I emphasize on get your lines based on cross contour. I mean, continue what we were doing last week. What is plus in this week is that you're thinking of what kind of line, thick and thin, the sharp and dark, what kind of line we're creating. Otherwise, it's the same as last week. Okay? Okay, thank you. We are ready. Okay, let's have a break. I hope you experienced a little bit of line quality after I talked. What do you think? How was the experience?
It's
It's
good.
good. I think probably sometimes you shouldn't think too much about it. You have to. I mean, it's a kind of joke, but there's some serious aspect about it. Don't make it too dark. Don't rush into making your lines dark. And again, let your feeling decide. And before making your lines, feel the surface and the plane that line is a representative of that plane. Every line is doing something with a plane. And you have to understand that plane, know where it is, then your line is going to represent that. Plus, the more you learn about drawing in general, it will affect your line and how you express your line. But I want you to practice this in this hour as well, and also in your homework. Again, get your line with help of cross contours. That's the most important thing. Feel the line. Let your feeling decide. And, be careful about all those aspects of line. And ask yourself why you make your line thick or thin or dull or sharp or, all other contrasts in line. Any question, anything you want to say? No? Okay, then let's practice this more and practice it in your homework as well. Thank you.